What's going on, everybody? Right back at it again. Right back like we never left. Back in the days, a good 23 years ago, for all you hip hop heads, your man Jewels put a mixtape out. Oh, he was right back like cooked crack. I'm not right back like cooked crack, I can tell you that much. That's crazy. That's crazy. You know? So what's the word? Marketing? The word is marketing. No, it's not. If you gotta talk about it, you ain't about it. Look, the I'm gonna try to keep it true. Like 2 years, man. Jason Hex, Win, what's going on? I'm gonna try to keep it true. 2 years. We passed the 2 year mark. So it's easily, like it's almost like what more can a person ask for? You passed the 2 year mark. A community that you helped create by marketing to the community, participated in these ideals, intangible principles on how to take advantage of opportunities to make money, right? From your marketing. Your meaning the founder. The founder, y'all. Like 2 years passed already. And keep hearing this thing about marketing. It's not ringing the same anymore. You know what I mean? Mm-mm. It's not ringing the same because marketing has been. I'm out here. I'm out here in these streets. You see? A lot of people don't stream from outside. It's crazy. A lot of people don't stream from outside. They stream from the comforts, from the confines of some type of abode. Me, unfortunately, right? Because I say unfortunately, because I don't want to be outside streaming. But I got to, because why not? Anyway, and people be like, yo, you got to go outside and touch the grass. Guess what? I'm touching the grass while I'm speaking some facts. How about that? A 2-for-1. The fact is, there's been marketing. Sometimes it's either you got it or you don't. One thing that I noticed, like, if you've been around since the last bull market, 2021, you've been around since then. Remember how your man got upset at the community because they wrapped a car with a NASCAR race and raised what, hundreds of thousands of dollars, like half a ticket, like over half a milli, over half a ticket, all for them to end up losing the race, and how he was pissed off, telling the community they wasted their money. With the community wanted to support that endeavor and spent, it was bull market season. It was the coins reaching all-time high season. People were selling, getting rich, retiring, flexing. So why not throw several bands on a car? Well over half a ticket, well over half a million, right? Your man was like, yo, you wasting your money. You could spend it differently, especially after the car lost, especially after the race. And I think it happened twice. Lost twice or something like that. I remember one for sure. And he expressed displeasure regarding brand marketing, because the NASCAR was an example of brand marketing. And it's not effective, or as effective as direct marketing, right? Direct marketing, where you directly, damn near, go to somebody face to face. It can't get any more direct than that. And speak your speech and sell whatever you got to sell, right? The mail order. Oh, send stuff in the mail. That's direct marketing. More effective. Less overheads. Cheaper. Blah, blah, blah. But it's marketing, right? You add that to wrapping different buses. You add that to creating merchandise as far as brand marketing. You add, at one point, there's something about toys, right? People having like stickers and pens and all types of stuff, right? Brand marketing or whatever, giving away free stuff. For one, I'm gonna tell you like this: did he ever, or I'm gonna say this, after he got pissed off at the community, talk about how the community fumbled the bag with the NASCAR marketing, I'm gonna tell you right now, he would never, it's my opinion, he would never fix his grill. He would never fix his grill piece and talk about how people fumbled the bag with the highest of stakes movie. He would never do that. You know why? I'll let y'all figure that out. Because you could say, all right, you didn't like the fact that the community spent over half a ticket on a car in a race that we lost. But I'm pretty sure, see, I'm out here, so when you're speaking the truth, the boys come after you. So you see, but they can't touch me because I'm blessed. It's an indelible fact. Anyway, and I hope everyone who's listening is just as blessed. Right. Wait a minute. I can't see the chat. Let me stop right now and say what's up to the chat. What's up? Checks my pulse. What's going on, man? Everything is everything, man. So my thing is, going back, what he had given the community, did he give the community any pushback, feedback, smoke, any type of harsh criticism for creating the movie that was made in his likeness, that he didn't spend a dime, that they say he didn't spend a dime to get that done, right? So I find it interesting, the picking and choosing. I find it interesting. It's like, nah, like, cause be real. Just like he could say NASCAR was a dub, NASCAR was a L. Well, did the movie push the needle in the right direction for the blockchain, for his tokens? Did the movie pump the bags for the last 2 years? You know what I mean? But it's still this talk, we hear about more marketing. Bruh, bruh. And this, what I'm talking about now, today, I've already talked about ad nauseum. It's just sometimes I understand people forget. People forget. Because if you hear consistently someone tell you we need more marketing, it begs to question, well, there's not enough marketing being done, if any. And we know, those of us who've been around, participating, getting to it, getting busy, we know that's not true. We know that's not true. At some point, you have to say, all right, what is it? You got to stop and assess, reflect, and basically evaluate what's going on here. If a community that you built from a thought materialized into a living thing, right? Corralled around his ideas, just like Satoshi, corralled around his ideas, but to a level where it's polarized, to where people describe the collective or the community as a cult. A cult who's been actively making noise on the internet. A cult that's been actively making noise on the internet for over 5 joints. for over 5, and it's still about need more marketing. Well, anybody and everyone is entitled to their own thoughts and opinions and feelings and perspectives. But if you keep talking about needing more marketing and not addressing certain weaknesses, if you don't address the weaknesses, then what do you expect to happen in the long run? You know what you expect to happen in the long run? What's been happening now. I'm just identifying what's taking place. I'm not creating my own concept, some theory that you have to test. I'm talking about what took place, what's taking place already. This has nothing to do with my feelings, even though I will and often unapologetically speak how I feel regarding these situations, because money is always involved. Money that doesn't fall from the sky, because I'm not a product of any type of, right, trust fund baby where I could live off the proceeds of benefactors that have lived before me, that have donned me the opportunity to be the recipient of an untold amount of blessings. I don't come from that in that sense as far as monetarily. My blessings are all spiritual, which I engender and am grateful for. That's why I identify things that people don't often talk about. Because where do you see people talk about anything spiritual in crypto? Nah, you're dealing with money. You're dealing with greed. You're dealing with temptation, right? You're dealing with fear. You're dealing with, the idea of being selfish. All of these things you can't necessarily touch, come from some place that we can't see. And so folks don't understand the connection between that and spirituality. But that's not the conversation. That's something for a different day, if ever. Marketing. You want to raise the attention of something you're dealing with, right? By projecting, announcing, sharing information, delivering information, and allowing the people to use it the way they see fit. You could call it coercion, influencing, persuading, right? You're trying to convince somebody that you got something that they need, something that they didn't even know they needed. The community's been acting that way, including myself, bumbling and fumbling and creating content for years. People stumbling and bumbling on each other's areolas and pelvic areas for years in a meetup. Because don't get it fooled, folks. You know what I'm saying? You go to a meetup, what you trying to do on the low? You're trying to smash something. You're trying to get familiar with somebody's private areas, right? Because you're tired of trying to be a fake intellectual. You gotta go back to the nether regions and get those areas start cooking so you can warm up something and make something happen and smash. That's all. Meetups and greet ups. Oh, you're gonna have a meetup. You're gonna have a meetup in a place that is just reckless abandon. Hotel, You know, you sipping on something nice, or you might see something that's visually tantalizing. And what are you gonna do? Right? Link up. That's what it's about. Where do you think the term pulse came from in pulse chain? On the pulsating rhythms of the orgasm. Look it up. Look it up. Got nothing to do with the heartbeat. That's your man's talk. And instead of taking that and running with it in a certain way, it's we need more marketing. You marketed something enough to have people talking about something you did for 5+ years. And maybe it reached the ceiling. But everybody can't market the same. And then if people don't really have the desire, they don't have the energy, they don't have the damn money to be incentivized to market, 5.5 years later, look at what we're dealing with. People who pretended like they were staking, all they did in the beginning was hold liquid bags and waited for the opportunity for the pump to take place so they could dump, get rich, retire, go ball out, right? Have their own personal freak offs. Yeah, yeah. And tease people who stake and call them idiots. People don't talk about staking like that anymore. They don't respect it. They respect the cash. They respect selling right now. They respect immediate gratification. That's what you're dealing with. So when you have a system that's set up this way and you talk about it differently and people show you something else, you talk about delayed gratification, but people are dumping the second they had a chance. You talk about 55-55, but people were dumping immediately the second they had a chance. You're already dealing with something that's wacky, that's something that's off balance. You're dealing with a disconnection right there. And then you speak in that narrative for so long where people who don't choose to really apply some form of common sense, it has nothing to do with even intellectual aptitude or cognitive aptitude. It's as basic as common sense. If they're telling you one thing and they're doing something else, what does that tell you? Shit's been funky from the door, from the door. So now, this is the dilemma. 2 years later, a blockchain launches, and we yet to even talk about some real all-time high gains because you're gonna blame it on some marketing. When the community been just like marketing, you got to a point where people are creating sacrifice projects and whatever just to grift, just to live, because they weren't being real with their audience. Meanwhile, the truth was bleeding on the internet. You could tell a lot of these influencers were living off of Pulse Chain, living off their popularity. They were leveraging, right, the fact that they thought that they were celebrities off the community so that you could spend and pay for their lifestyle. Spend your money to fund their lifestyle and hide the truth by telling you you need to sign, you need to support, you need to sign these documents, you need to support, you need to pay, you need to donate, you need to do all these things for the betterment of onboarding. No, they ask for us to do all these things so that they can pay their bills, so they don't have to be in complete abject poverty, dismissing the fact that they don't know and don't understand and don't care about what other people are going through, because it's about being selfish. It's about being greedy. It's about thinking about numero uno, not a damn community, you know? And it's okay, just put it out there on the table, but a lot of them haven't. Then you have people who deal with mental health issues, because what do you think happens when you build a popularity off of some shady, shaky foundation and people call you out on it? And then you watch it, not only are people calling you out on it because the truth just keeps coming out, you're not real, you're not a supporter, you barely really know what crypto is. You don't call things out. You have some form of a voice because people lent you their confidence. And when you get called out on it and you can't bear to deal with the truth, sometimes that puts a weight on someone's psyche to the point where they can't manage their day to day. So things have to suffer. And what happens? People crash out. You can see I'm not one to always to be absent of the fact that you have to be accountable and responsible for what you talk about on the internet, especially when it's talking about money and you faking the funk talk about not financial advice. You're indirectly giving financial advice, right? So the crypto grapevine was circulating, and in this nasty grapevine, that's wretched, disgusting, unconscionable grapevine, something landed on my device. Piece of information that landed on my device that I found deplorable. It was tragic. It was disgusting. It was sad. I don't even know if it's real, but just the idea. It's similar to the idea and the allegation of RH. Like when I say disgusting and not knowing it's real, it's just to have a nasty rumor that you beat up a teenager. It's disgusting. It's vile. A billionaire touching a teenager. You must have been, that teenager better have threatened his life, like at some kind of unimaginable way or a nasty way for him to defend himself, and boom, 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 if that even happened at all. But the nasty piece of information that just found rose its disgusting head in my internet feed, that 2 people took their lives this week. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how real that is. But 2 people in who deal with his product. I can't even say it and feel good about it. 2 people in the community that supported your man's efforts or blockchain and blah blah blah. They say, yeah, check themselves out this week. One did it one day, the next one did it the other day, back to back. I don't even know how real that is, but just that energy to put out there is nasty work. Nasty work. But you talk about marketing. When I went to the profile for one of them, I think one of them was following me. I didn't even know. I mean, how would you know? Like, like that, like as far, like when, oh, it was nasty work, man. It's nasty work. And to hear certain things like, and I'm not blaming him for someone making the decision to unalive themselves. Not necessarily blaming dude. I'm just showing you how serious things can be, because this is about bread. This is about money. People get exhausted. People, you don't know how adversely impacted folks can be behind these things, man. It's not easy for people. You can tell. You can tell how people crash out on the internet because they have no way to really manage or use anything as an outlet to express themselves, to express their issues, to vent. So they'll crash out on the internet. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. Imagine you were an avid supporter in 21, and 4 years later, you still like you reaping the gains of everything outside of what you thought you would. You put a lot of energy somewhere that basically materialized meager results, with the hope that what goes up has to come down, with the hope that one day things might turn around for the better. But never forget what it took you to get to where you are right now. Don't forget how difficult the road this travel has been. Don't apply it and keep it in on the internet. Apply it to real life. Relationships, people you don't speak to because you brought them to a situation where they lost and they blame you for it. You brought them into a situation thinking that, you know, it was an opportunity for you to get your lives changed and do better and be great, right? Financially, at least. And the exact opposite happens. And so now you don't speak to so and so anymore. Fractured relationships, fractured opportunities, losses, people who can't handle it and they unalive themselves. Nasty stuff. And then you hear, oh, you need more marketing. I mean, depending on who you are, that might not land right. That might land different. That might land in a way where no, the response that you're looking for, you're gonna get the exact opposite. It won't be, oh yes, sir. Yeah, yeah. It won't be like, hey guys, jump, and people saying how high. It'll be a different response. And that's what we're getting to. People are tired. People are tired, bro. People are tired. And sometimes you gotta understand when you reach your ceiling. Sometimes you also gotta know your limit and know what you're good at doing and what you're not good at. And even what you're good at doing has a certain point that you might struggle to go past. And dude had reached that point, in my opinion. You already did a lot of cringeworthy, cornball stuff that real men like, yo, son, I don't know what type of time he was on, but it was what it was. He called it some rage marketing. And what has that done? I don't know. What has that done for the needle on these charts, for these, perceived green candles that we waiting for? What has that done? It got a bunch of people pissed off, so they dropped a dime on you, contacted the SEC, they dropped a dime because you pissed a lot of people off. You know, sometimes I'm an artist, so, artists can relate when I say this. When you create some work from your creative mind, real art, well, I was told this by my elders, that art is supposed to touch you in some type of way. If you create whatever type of work it is, auditory, audio, visual, literary, works of art, if you could get a reaction on somebody, you did your job. Even if the reaction is not favorable, you did your job. So creatively, he uses marketing talent, if you will. He uses marketing talent to get reactions out of people. And a lot of the reaction was not favorable, right? And so I guess in that sense, the job was done. But in the other sense, when people are you're still waiting, and more waiting, keep waiting and waiting. You know, you know what I mean? Let me say what's up to everybody here, man. Negative zero in the building. What's going on? He said fire emojis, the fire emojis. Johnny Chaos in the building. What's going on, Johnny? Good to see you. He said we need to dust off the covered wagons and fire up the pretty. Hey, hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, man. I, I guess, man. I let the experts do that. You know, I let the experts get to the postcard building and sending, delivering, right? I just, y'all understand where I'm coming from when I'm talking, because I have stakes, right? I'm in it to win it, just like everybody else. I did many streams, right? Like when you look at people like those guys that launched another blockchain, you call it layer one, whatever, whatever. The guys that did the perpetuals that launched another blockchain, right? Talking about they want to basically introduce a new opportunity to see value in Ethereum hex. I think a lot of people have just been misguided, yo. You know what I mean? Like those guys, the perpetuals and Maximus and all that, they were scorned. Those gentlemen are scorned. They are scorned. That they behave like that. Like they behave like that. And in some ways, I don't blame them for being pissed off. But in some ways, I do. Like it's about accountability. You built your popularity off a token and created tokens aligning with this token with Hex, made a fortune. So you ate off Hex. You made a fortune now. Don't lie and pretend like you was right. Nah, don't do that. Hex made you who you are today. As far as even built your popularity on the internet, this and that. Cool. I get the frustration with the lack of acknowledgement, the lack of support Richard announced of with builders in the beginning, and the whole EHEX nail that Richard drove in the coffin last March 2024. I get all that because that directly affects everything anyone did for Hex on Ethereum, right? But it's the maturity, the lack of emotional intelligence. Those guys, they made a fortune, bruh. To be indignant, like there's one thing, like I didn't build anything as far as launch any coins, memes, community, made money off Richard and as far as Hex and Pulsion. I didn't that didn't happen. I'm a regular schmegular investor and I could talk my shit because nobody paid me to do shit. And I didn't get rich off a community. I didn't launch a sacrifice left and right just to fund my lifestyle. So these guys made a fortune. And you're now going to bite the hand that fed you? That's wild to me, bro. Like, if anything, if you got strong opinions, yo, keep that, you know, put that on the table somewhere. So if you touch millions, if you touch hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions, bro, because of some nondescript that you launched trying to talk about you, oh, it's a derivative of Hex and this and that, and it was successful. Then you get on post chain and you talking wild crazy because Richard doing him in crazy ways that make no sense. because Richard is confusing as fuck too. He's not all there. But then you're gonna downplay everything he's doing as if you didn't make a fortune. That makes you look crazy. That makes you look crazy, bro. Them guys are young, man. They're young. They don't see what some of us see because they haven't lived long enough. That's why, man. Those guys, they have the desire, they have the drive, right? I can see it. You can see it. You know, it's not. It's just it's what it is. It's not personal. It's just real. Like you can see it. They want to do great things, and the potential's there, but they just keep allowing their youthful zeal to take over, and then they become consumed with pride, and that shit is it can destroy you. Ego and all that. Come on, bro. You made millions. Dismiss your ego after a while. Like I get it if it's, but nah. You know, like make no sense, bro. Like you make money off of this thing, and then that I can't agree with. You made money off the thing, and then you talking shit about the person that created an opportunity for you to make millions off. Come on, son. Come on, son. Like, what do you? Come on, bro. Redirect. Shout out to the chat, man. I see y'all, man. I see y'all. Checks my pulse. What's up, Dino XXX? I'm sorry, Dino. Oh, that's crazy. Dino X5555 DJ. Nobody cares. Salute. I said XXX. That's a Freudian slip because I was bombarded with images of XX. You want to talk about marketing? Times Square back in the late 70s and 80s. Times Square was nothing but porn fest. That's it. XXX everywhere. It was crazy. And neon lights plastered all over this and that and this, cable, channel J, midnight blue, crazy, all kinds of Adam and Eve catalogs. And then you go to the newsstand and you watching like any type of, you know what I'm saying, like Hustler and Hugh Hef Empire, right? Yeah, come on, bro. Playboy, no, yo. Want to talk about marketing? That's marketing. Why don't this guy raise the level of marketing and attach it to some kind of energy that we all familiar with, the energy that created us, attached to that in a higher level so people can understand. People can understand. It's the energy that's out here, people. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Not about a mailing a postcard. Yo, come on. It always goes back to that. It always goes back to that. What are we talking about? It always goes back to that. It always goes back to that. Make it interesting. Come on, man. Yeah. Yeah, make it interesting. Make it interesting. Sex, drugs, rock and roll. Sex, drugs, and crypto. Make it interesting. Do something. Do a show like that. Sex, drugs, and crypto. What we doing? What we doing? No, you can't be pretending like you can't be a prude. What we doing? This is it right here. This is unadulterated, unfiltered, raw realities we dealing with money and crypto and revolution and groundbreaking, and disturbing the wretched traditional finance systems and all that. Groundbreaking, disruptive. We're gonna disrupt some shit. So disrupt some shit. Sex, drugs, and crypto. Stop being all kind and you did pussyfooting and politically correct and all that. Nah. A lot of us we understand what this is about, man. No, you gotta spit truth. Spit truth. Truth is not kind. Truth is not nice. It's not sweet like that. It's raw, aggressive, unadulterated. What we doing? Oh, but there's marketing. Hex condoms, bruh. What we doing? What we doing, bruh? What we talking about, bruh? The the guy's on trial. The guy's on trial. He's on trial. So put baby lotion and wrap it with a hex and pulse chain thing. Baby lotion, hex lotion. Well, we shut up. You people, come on, man. What are you talking about, man? You made the thing behind orgasmic rhythms and contractions. So what we doing? Pulse chain, the orgasm of crypto. What? Stop, bruh. Stop. This shit ain't hard, bruh. If I was young and I had the time that you guys got and the youth, the young people. I'm Generation X, so I'm almost, you know what I mean? Yeah. So anyway, come on, man, have fun with it, man. This guy ain't gonna stop telling you to, oh, market, market. Okay, we're gonna market. We're gonna market. We're gonna get to the sexual bag in crypto. Stop playing. Stop playing, because you know what it's all about.